How's it going, agents? Sen here. Now, if you've been on the Division 2 subreddit recently, you've probably seen a lot of this.
That's because you're trash and you don't know how to fucking optimize your build. It is not that fucking difficult. Learn to optimize your build. Why are you still running a skill build? Cluster bombs don't even work anymore. You're insane. Me and my boys clear heroic strongholds in like 3 hours. Why are you still struggling? Optimize. Learn to optimize.
Yes, that's a lot of people yelling at you about optimization and why you are bad. I am here to assist you with a kind of sort of easy to build Nemesis set that'll have you hitting 7 million damage per shot with your Nemesis. Now, the first thing you need, of course, sharpshooter. The things that you need in sharpshooter: one in the head, 15% increased headshot damage with rifles and marksman rifles, allowing for precision kills. Second thing that you need: depleted rounds, 15% increased marksman rifle damage for your Nemesis. Yes, your Nemesis is a marksman rifle. 15% extra damage is extremely significant. Now, if you do not have a Nemesis, I would say also spec into This Is My Rifle for rifle damage, and also EMI for assault rifle damage. Unless you like using machine guns, and I would say skip assault rifles and just go for the machine gun instead. Because if you're running a regular sniper rifle, this build is still viable. It's just not as optimal. And you'll need the digital scope, and I'll get into why the digital scope is super important later. Now, armor wise, well, weapon first. Burnout, high-end assault rifle. It is available from the clan vendor today, which is Monday, March 9th. It's extremely good. It didn't roll with 15%. That's because I reworked it myself. But its intrinsic perk is reloading from empty grants 40% handling for 10 seconds. That's okay, but the major overall bonus is the 900 rate per minute. High rate per minute weapons are super important now that Warlords of New York is out, because everything is just that much harder to kill, which means you need to be able to put out a ton of damage really fast in order to burn things down. Of course, we got our bad boy, the Nemesis, the marksman rifle. Total damage is 2 million with my build. I have 12% marksman rifle damage, 109% headshot damage, and 8% hit chance. Now, with exotics in this expansion, what they've done is that they can roll randomly, so you can get god roll exotics that have core attributes that are 15% marksman rifle damage, 115% headshot damage, full 15% critical hit chance. The major perk that makes this build so good is electromagnetic accelerator. Shots fired deal 0 to 100% weapon damage based on how long the trigger is held before release. I'll be explaining how that works when we get down to the shooting range a little bit later. Now, when we look at our gear, what do we need? We need aces and eights, 4-piece. My suggestion is, and you can do your own variation on this, but my suggestion is you go for the helmet, the holster, the gloves, and the knee pads. I do not suggest going for the backpack or the chest piece, because there are more viable perks that will give you the ability to put out way more damage. Now, if you look on all of my builds, you realize that I was the lucky one. My core attribute for weapon damage is 15%. I'm close on the knee pads. Huh, that's funny. 15% on the mask, 15% on the backpack. I have not been lucky enough to get a chest piece yet, and that's weird that I have that, since I know I definitely have the 15% buff, which means I need to buff that up later. On the chest piece is the Pristine Example. It is a high-end name drop. I believe this is one that you might be able to forge, or it might just be one that drops. It is the Araldi Holdings set, and the set bonus is 10% marksman rifle damage and 10% headshot damage. Both of those are extremely important when it comes to a sniper rifle. Core attribute is 12.7% weapon damage, and we use Perfect Focus. Increase total weapon damage by 6% every second you are aiming while scoped 8 times or higher up to 60%. Requires a scope with 8 times magnification or higher. And then on our backpack, exact same thing. The Apollo Operator Pack Replica. It's a high-end. You can craft these. The core attribute, of course, once again, is 15%. And our main perk is Composure. While in cover, increases total weapon damage by 15%. Now, with these two pieces, you can definitely sub in other things if you do not have them. For instance, if you do not have the... I already forgot the name. Perfect Focus. You can definitely use... Where are you? You're hidden somewhere. Glass Cannon. All damage you deal is amplified by 25%. And all damage you take is amplified by 50%. Now, the reason why I moved away from Glass Cannon has everything to do with the fact that everything hurts. And everything is trying to kill you and rip your face off. Which means if you're taking 50% more damage, you're 50% more likely to be folded. And I do not want to be folded. I want to be the one doing the folding. I do not want to be the one receiving the folding. So I do not like Glass Cannon. Or you can run Overwatch, which is after staying in cover for 10 seconds, increase you and your allies' total weapon and skill damage by 12% as long as you remain in cover. This is another extremely good one. This one rolled on a Petrov defense group, so it's LMG damage plus 10%. So I'm just going to continue running this for right now until I can get another Araldi Holdings chess piece that has that roll on it. Now, we are going to head downstairs into the shooting range. And as you can see, my shooting range is set to Heroic. If you did not know this, if you hold options here, you can change it between the settings. So you can set it to challenging, hard, or normal, and things will adjust to that health level. So, we're going to start off with a name target. That's the difference for the Nemesis right there. That chime that you hear, when you scope in and you hold down the trigger, it charges. That chime means that it's fully charged. You let go. Boom. 7.7 million on one shot. Three shots, name targets. If you're solo in Heroic, this is completely different if you're running in a group. If you're running in a 2-man, the scaling is not that difficult. I think the health increases by about another 5 million. But once you get into 4-man tier, it is a ridiculous amount of health that you're going to be finding on these name targets. So right now, we haven't procced aces and eights yet. Good, we've got 4 of a kind. 10 million. So with aces and eights procced, which is the extra 40% boost that you get from the aces and eights gear set, you hit for 10,092,622 damage. And I believe that is enough to two-shot a named boss in Heroic. On Heroic, you can two-shot a named boss once you have aces and eights procced. And there really isn't any that big of a damage drop-off at all. Aces and eights drop, so it's back down to 7 million. Pop it again, and it's dead. Now, what about all of the other enemies that you're going to run into in Heroic? Veteran targets, purple guys. Dead. Elite targets, yellow guys. Dead. Back to name targets. I don't remember if aces and eights procced, but we're about to find out. It did not proc, so it's going to be a 3-shot instead of a 2-shot. Because we do not have aces and eights yet. But that is 7 million per shot. If you wanted to know, a name target in Heroic on its own has 18 million health. Aces and eights isn't going to proc, but that's 7.7 million. And this second shot should be 10 million and kill it. Ooh, didn't kill it. So I still need to do an extra... Alright, if you look in the corner, my last shot was 10 million. So first shot 7 million, second shot 10 million. That's 18 million damage because I'm not counting for the other numbers on the end. Then our last shot hit it for 260,000. So it has roughly 19 million health on heroic when you're running this by yourself. And of course you have your handy dandy assault rifle, which is once again, like I said, the burnout. Now you can definitely, if you wanted to, you can definitely swap to another weapon, because there are a bunch of good light machine guns. I mean, you can run a Pestilence, an FAL, a SOCOM, the Grudge. It's completely up to you what it is that you want to run in your main primary slot, because for the most part, what's augmenting this weapon are all of the 15% weapon damage buffs. All of those are augmenting this, and then it's definitely augmenting this. Nemesis, I feel as though Nemesis is definitely going to end up being king again for people who like to sit way in the back if you're taking a control point and just snipe. Because as everything's running up to you, you shoot it, it takes cover, they peek out, you shoot them in the head. As long as it's not a name boss, you'll end up one-shotting them. It's definitely one of my go-to builds. For my skills, I know a lot of people like to run the Revive Hive. I'm not a fan of the Revive Hive, especially in Heroic, because in Heroic, if you go down and something is shooting you, sometimes it will either disrupt the Revive Hive, or the second you get up, they will fold you. So I don't like being folded twice. I like to avoid being folded at all, which means once I die, I just switch up my strategy and pick a new position that I can snipe from. So I run the Decoy, which the Decoy is extremely good. You throw it out there, enemies will more likely go for that than they will to go for you. And the Shock Trap, for those individuals who like to bum rush you with bombs strapped to their chest. The Shock Trap throws out 6 traps. It will be able to stun them. You'll be able to burst them down. It's also extremely good for setting up a trap for the named target. Throw your Shock Trap out, shock them, snipe them twice, put them down, put them in the dirt. It's officially over. Hunting season is done. So yeah, that is the Nemesis build. Once again, we're just going to go over it extremely quickly. We have a 4-piece Aces and 8 set. We're using the mask, the gloves, the knee pads, and the holster. The Aces and 8s gives you different bonuses depending on the more pieces that you have. The 2-piece is another 15% to marksman rifle damage. The 3-piece is 20% to headshot damage. And then, of course, you have Dead Man's Hand, which is the cards that you see at the bottom of the screen below my numbers right there. Every shot that you take up to your 5th shot will flip a card. Once you flip a card, you will get a 40% damage bonus for your sniper shots with your marksman rifle. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. And like I said, with the chest piece and the backpack, it's completely up to you what you want to run. If you're somebody who has no luck in finding a backpack like this that gives you composure, you can also run a backpack such as Companion. When you are within 5 meters of an ally or skill, total weapon damage is increased by 15%. So if you're somebody who likes to run the healer drone, yes, the healer drone isn't as good as it was in Title Update 7. It kind of got nerfed in Title Update 8, which kind of sucks. It's like it's just pouring water on you instead of giving you those delicious heals. The Companion will give you the extra 15% because the healer drone never leaves your side. It just floats around your head, which is extremely good. And for the chest piece, like I said earlier, with perfect focus, as long as you're in cover and scoping in, you will do 6% more damage every second you're holding in for up to 60 seconds, which means up to, if you scope in for 10 seconds, you'll get a 60% damage buff. Now, It's not exactly super practical. I'm going to be extremely honest with you when it comes to sniping and putting out damage, because for the most part, holding down the Nemesis's scope to charge up to 100% is probably about a 2 to 3 second charge before you can pull the trigger. So you'll probably get about a 30% damage boost, unless you really want to wait and you want to get that 60%. But even with 30%, you're going to be hitting for 9 million, and sometimes if you wait the entire time, you'll hit for 9. But if you don't have that and you're completely unlucky, like I said, you can run Glass Cannon because you're far enough back that you're not going to be taking damage, but you're going to be missing out unless you can get Glass Cannon to roll on a Araldi holding set, so you can get that extra 10% marksman rifle damage and that extra 10% headshot damage. Then you're going to be missing out on a little bit of damage. You'll probably be hitting about 5 million, maybe 6 million, which isn't that bad. It's pretty good. Can't complain. I'm going to be doing a couple more sets. Like, I have a ton. Like, a ton. A megaton. Next video I'm going to do is definitely going to be on a machine gun build and why the machine gun signature weapon is extremely good. Well, not the minigun itself, but the perks that you find in the tree. Alright, that is it for this video. I am going to put me doing a heroic control point solo at the end of this so you guys can see it in action. Catch you in the next one. Peace.
Hostiles guarding location nearby. Incoming hostiles detected.
Shit! Gotta reload! I've got you covered! Moving around them! They're right there!
Immediate medical assistance needed. Agent down.
I see movement over there! In that cover!
Yeah!
cover fire.
Vital signs critical. Agent down.
I got your back. We gotta destroy that thing. Flank him. Come here, then. This bastard shot to hell.
Crap! Not now.
Supply room access unlocked.
I don't know that we could have done that.